Hey everyone, it's Michael. Thanks for tuning in. On this week's episode, I'm going to sit down with Paul Daftarian, my business partner at the Daftarian Group, and we are going to go behind the scenes and talk about how we got 33 Smithcliffs sold. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, leave comments, and it is Thanksgiving week, so I wanted to wish everyone a happy, healthy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your families, and we'll see you next week.
We're sitting here in one of the most expensive homes in all of Orange County, 33 Smithcliffs, and we just sold it.
How did we do it?
Stay tuned, we're gonna tell you in 2 seconds. So Mike, let me ask you a question. How do you think we did it?
Well, first of all, we always start by identifying who the end buyer is going to be. We literally figure out like what does a property have, what does it not have, right? The pros and the deficiencies. And then we think about, what that person looks like, what's their lifestyle, right? Like, especially this house. Bluff front, no direct beach access. People think of that as a deficiency, but not if you don't like going to the beach.
Yeah, and then we obviously found the buyer that we set out to find, which was somebody who really kind of wanted an estate style property, really was gonna value the double lot and the big yard space and not having to deal with multi-levels, having the whole house on 2 levels. And we started targeting people in Crystal Cove, because this is Crystal Cove adjacent, and we wanted to find somebody who, like you said, wanted to be on the water, but had no interest in going to the beach.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, we knew they would be more mature in age, likely.
Yeah,
so
because
main floor master.
Main floor primary suite, exactly.
Right, primary suite.
Yeah.
But anyway, and then, but it has everything else. It has on-grade parking, garage, which in North Laguna is like
impossible to find,
right?
Yeah,
huge oversized
we had
garage.
to find someone that felt like the gate was a plus, but the deficiency of not having a guard wasn't going to be a deal breaker, right? I remember it was your idea to get the golf cart, which I thought was pretty smart because I didn't think it was going to take 5-6 months to get a golf cart.
Right.
So we planned to head there. And of course, the buyer who bought the house wanted the golf cart. We picked that up. The sellers really didn't think it was necessary. We picked up the tab on that ourselves because we knew it was going to be a component that we just wanted to kind of address before it came up. It's kind of the elephant in the room. There's no private beach here.
Yeah.
And then I thought what was interesting was, again, selling the house furnished. We knew that was going to happen because somebody that's going to buy a $40 million house doesn't want to deal with headache of remodeling. That's why they want new construction, newly renovated. And they definitely want to move right in, like bring your toothbrush, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, especially now, like post the COVID lockdown, getting furniture in general is a delay, a nightmare, right? I mean,
it's nothing but headache.
Yeah.
Right.
You place the order, they say 6 to 8 weeks, and then you get the email that says 6 to 8 months.
Yeah, I mean, we knew that we had to find the buyer who was going to allow us to let their logical side of their brain turn off. This was all emotion. And you don't buy 10, 20, 30, 40, $50 million homes from a point of being logical. This is all like, I've got to have it, I need it, it's going to make my life better, it's easy, it's a trophy property, I'm going to get to use all of it, and all the pros outweigh any of the cons, right? I mean, that's really what it came down to.
That's a good point. A lot of people, they spreadsheet out like the price per square foot analysis. Like these kind of properties, these trophy properties, they're not like that.
No,
I
mean,
it's a want, it's not a need.
We did the replacement value,
Yeah.
right? We put it at 48 million because that's what the 2 lots would cost you. It costs you to build, costs you to carry, and the developer owner is going to have to make a couple shekels to kind of make this whole process worthwhile. So that's how we came with the 48. We also priced it high enough in the beginning to give ourselves some room, because we knew someone was going to need to feel like they got a deal. Even though they were going to pay a record price, we knew that somebody had to feel like they're getting a deal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is all about feeling. It's their perception, is their reality. It's feeding into that. It's like someone who goes and spends, $100,000 more on a Mercedes G-Wagon right now, feels good about it, right? That doesn't make any logical sense. Like someone who wants to go pay double for a watch to get it right now, somehow convinces themselves that it's the right thing to do. And that's kind of what we did with making this house essentially move-in ready, flawless, completely thought out. I thought the staging was an interesting component where the owners had originally gone with a company And then none of us liked the furniture.
Kind of
then
out of the area, you know.
Yeah, coming from LA and New York, didn't really get the Orange County coastal vibe. And, you know, kind of refresh my memory. What happened with the staging? So we kind of booted the other staging company out because it just wasn't going to work. And then what happened?
Yeah, I mean, thanks to our local relationship with Ambiance Homes, I mean, they were able to come in, kind of do us a really solid favor, acted very quickly. I mean, lead time normally is taking
weeks or months.
Weeks or months. They were in here installed within like 10 days, which is insane.
Really, if you remember it, Ambiance did it in 7 business days.
Right.
And we, again, with the owners who had excellent taste, us included, we kind of strategically removed pieces, brought in pieces, because we had a vision of what the house was going to need to look like to attract the right buyer.
Yeah.
And, you know, both buyers that we got written offers on at the same time, of course, both wanted it furnished.
Right, exactly.
And they never said they were in love with every single piece of the house, but 90% of it they loved. And it was part of the whole process of making it easy.
Yeah.
You know, we kind of sold this property as a unicorn. And it really, you can't find a house that has this double lot with this kind of view. But again, in the market, the buyers, the agents, all they brought up was the negatives, right? They're like, oh, it doesn't have a guard gate. It doesn't have a private beach. There's never been a home that's even sold remotely like around this price. The highest sale was this property as purchased as a teardown. That was the highest sale in this neighborhood, right? So how did we kind of overcome the pricing strategy, the pricing obstacle from some of the buyers?
I mean, really, it was the replacement value concept, right? I mean, it's go find 2 lots on a bluff that are tied together, completely flat. And the irreplaceable aspect of it was you can't even really build this as it sits today, this close to the bluff, with the roof deck, with the pool, on grade, 10,000 square feet.
Yeah, and that's where, you know, obviously, you know, the whole build design team, Carlton Graham, Michael Fullen, Hill Construction, the owner's involvement, everybody just kind of came together and, you know, essentially had to remodel an old 10,000 square foot home and basically piece by piece make it feel new, which I think they did a fantastic job. Everybody loved the house. I think at the end of the day, people wanted, you know, certain things, right? West-facing view, year-round sunsets. I think at, you know, $30 to $60 million, people are not going to compromise. I think going back to the pricing question I had earlier, what I kind of recant happening was we knew we had to get more than one person interested at the same time to have the fear of loss kick in. I mean, we go out and promote this all the time with our listings right now. In today's no inventory market, the way in this hyper, you know, high end market, right, north of 30 million, the homes are sitting. They're not like selling in a day like our other 3, 5, 10, 15, even $20 million listings. And you've got to get multiple parties involved because the affluent don't like to lose. So when that fear of loss kicked in, when we had our first buyer who we were representing, he came in and, you know, got a little wobbly in the deal because they wanted more time to do due diligence. It was a very short 5-day contingency period. Then, you know, we convinced the other agent and buyer to put in a backup offer, and we got him to come in at a great price, you know, a little bit higher net to the seller.
Record.
When this thing closes next week, it's going to be the highest sale as of data today on the MLS, highest sale in the Orange County calendar for 2021, highest gross sales price. So we're real proud of that.
On the MLS.
On the MLS, yeah. There's some off markets that might have traded that are going to have a different value, sales price, but this is going to be the highest sale on the MLS for 2021.
And the price per square foot is going to be up there too. Probably, you know, not the highest, obviously, because there were some smaller properties maybe that pushed it a little bit, but it's going to be in like the top percentage for sure.
Yeah. I mean, you know, anything above 3,500 a square foot is big money anywhere, right? You know, I think the other interesting thing was, you know, getting these two parties to kind of bid up to get to where we thought was a fair number for the house and that the sellers would accept, and they started considerably lower, right? I mean, the first buyer, we went back and forth, 5-6 counters, keeping the deal together. Seller didn't want to come back and counter. It was very contentious and emotional. Kind of us, we went from salespeople to kind of therapist, negotiator, all this in one. And, you know, I think it's high stakes poker. I mean, there's a lot of emotions on the line. I remember you were kind of definitely the good cop and I was the bad cop in a lot of these negotiations. But it's just keeping the wheels on the bus, right? You got to keep the ball moving forward 1 yard at a time. And, you know, I think we're so excited about this sale. We're so happy for everyone involved. I think it's a testament to how we set this up and the sellers really trusting us to take our advice from the staging to the marketing to the golf cart to how we showed the house. They didn't micromanage us one bit.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if we've ever had sellers quite like this.
Amazing.
They literally,
great experience. One thing that I want to circle back to though, because I think it's really important, especially in this marketplace, is the concept of the backup offer. I can't believe how many, listings we have where we accept an offer and multiple parties, especially in the lower price point, but
like sub 10 million.
But on this deal, specifically, where we had multiple offers, and then the ability to get someone to write that backup offer. I don't understand why people don't do it more frequently, because this buyer who felt like he missed out put in a backup offer, we got it accepted, and then sure enough, the deal fell apart. And
with the first buyer,
and here you are, you're in a great position. You're already, escrow's open.
Yeah.
You got a deal.
Yeah.
So you have, no risk. I mean, is there any risk? I mean, what risk is there to people to do it, other than a little bit of time?
Yeah, I mean, signing a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, the buyer could have backed out. Right now, we did something unique here because we needed the buyer to put some pressure, the second buyer to put pressure on the first buyer. So we kind of spoon-fed the buyer's agent to kind of come in with a non-contingent offer. So that is an aggressive move, but he'd already been through the house a bunch. He didn't want to mess around. He'd already missed He'd already missed on the house one time. He wasn't going to let it happen again. Obviously, we went to work and pushed him up on price to a number where the seller would accept. And ultimately, I think we acted in our seller's, best favor, but also for the buyer too. He's got this house. This is irreplaceable. But when the people are going through the process, this guy was $5-6 million off from the price that he needed to be able to buy the house. And that's where I think, we came in as really just honest advisors and, weren't there to kind of fluff the situation. Like, if you want this house, this is what it's going to take and this is why you should pay it. But I think without that first buyer going into escrow, all cash, him losing out, I don't think he would have come up to this number. Yeah. The gentleman who's lucky enough, him and his wife and the family, to be able to buy this house, I think they wouldn't have done what's best for themselves. They would have kind of listened to their own gut, which is always pay less, right? Mm-hmm. And it's hard in this market to stomach these record prices because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, right? I mean, inflation could go through the roof, rates could go up, prices could soften next year. That's a reality. But I think the way you position is like you told him, I remember you said, look, this is a generational property, right? You're not going to sell, you're not going to flip this next year.
I mean, that's always, since day one, that was like actually the core concept around the marketing of the property, and not that it was a marketing concept, it really is the truth, right?
It was a storytelling.
But this family is going to buy it. It's going to be in their family probably forever.
Yeah.
They don't. Yeah. If the market collapses tomorrow, it's not going to change their life one bit. So,
no. I mean, this is a house that is going to be their vacation house. The children are going to use it when the parents aren't here. The parents get to use it as basically a one story. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen a house that's this easy to live in, that's this large, and that really kind of took, it was shocking that buyers didn't realize that on their own. We would go through the house with agents and buyers, and they would be like, yeah, it's a nice house. I'm like, what do you notice different about it? I don't know, it's on the water. How about it's 10,000 square feet with no basement? How about you don't have to go down a windy driveway to park every day? You could literally pull into your garage, you have a straight shot to your kitchen or primary suite. It's just easy living. Sure, there's an elevator. Sure, there's a roof deck. Sure, there's a 20-foot motorized pocketing door. Sure, there's like a lot of wow factor parts, but it lives very easy. And people don't usually get that with estates, mansions on the water. Mm-hmm. I mean, just go next door to Emerald Bay, like the new one that Richard Krantz did. How many stories is that one?
At least 4.
Yeah, 4, maybe possibly 5 if you count the lower deck.
Yeah.
I don't know people that want to live on a 5-story, 4-story, 3-story property, right? I mean, to get 10,000 square feet on 2 levels with no basement is pretty unique to find, but I just thought it was so shocking that people didn't kind of notice that on their own.
Yeah. Well, we found 2. That's all we needed, and then 1 across the finish line. So
we're gonna celebrate this one. We're real happy for our sellers. We again couldn't have asked for better sellers that took our advice from day one. They entrusted us with kind of being the ambassadors of this house, listening to our different strategies. Very thoughtful people, but very logical. Pretty much everything was executed perfectly on the house that we set out to do. And, I think we hit our target on price, and, we've got a great buyer. Yep. We're closing next week. It's going to be a record sale.
Like Tim Grover says, you can celebrate for 15 minutes and then it's back to work. So
Yeah, no, we've celebrated already. We're moving on.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.